Hey everybody, welcome back to Gastro Mojo. Today we're doing chilaquiles. So let's get started and go through the ingredients. First of all, the main ingredient, of course, in chilaquiles, you want your chips. And with chips, we're going to use these white corn tortillas here. You can use yellow or white, doesn't really matter. I'm using white today. Next, for our sauce, we're going to have 3 Roma tomatoes. Roma's, I think, the best tomato you want to use for sauce. Then we're going to use a sweet Vidalia onion. You can use any kind of onion. I just wanted to use Vidalia this time. There's a California Chile pepper, which has already been cut and I've taken the seeds out. And then there's a little clove of garlic. And we're also going to be topping it with a little crema sauce. Since I don't actually have crema sauce, we're going to make our own using sour cream and this street taco seasoning, which is actually really good. We're going to mix them together and drizzle that on top when we're done. And then we'll shred up a little bit of the cotija cheese and then topped off with some chopped green onion. And then for the protein, I'll be scrambling a couple eggs in the same pan as the sauce was cooked in. Alright, I think that's good. Let's get started. First, we're going to boil some water here. So we got our pot on. Gonna set this to boil, and while it's boiling, we're gonna step over and chop up some of the food. Alright, here we go. Let's get ready. We're gonna start off. Let's go ahead and chop up the green onions here. Don't need these loose pieces here, so we're gonna cut them off, cut off the bottom, and start chopping up the green parts. Alright, that green onion is done. Let's get this onion chopped up. And we're not going to use the whole onion. We're just going to use about 1/4 of it. You could probably use half, really, but I decided to go ahead and stick with 1/4 of the onion. And that's it. We'll just clean it up, and we'll move on to the next step here as soon as we get it cleaned up. Okay, let's go ahead and start the crema sauce that we're going to make. We got the sour cream and the taco sauce. We'll go ahead and use about 3 scoops of the sour cream here. And then go ahead and pour in some of the taco sauce. I started off with a little bit less, and then what I'm going to do is just keep testing it and trying it until I get it to where I like it, because I don't want to put too much in at first and have it be too strong, and you can't really go back. You could always add a little more sour cream, but I don't want to make more than I have to right now if it's just me I'm making these chilaquiles for. Let's go ahead and mix it up. Alright, so I noticed it was looking a little thick, so I'm going to go ahead and put a splash of milk in here, kind of thin it up a little bit, not very much, maybe a teaspoon worth of milk, just to thin it out a little bit. And I'm going to go ahead and put a little more of the taco seasoning in there, taco sauce, mix it up. Okay, so that last little bit did it. Let's go check on our water. Looks like our water's ready to go. So let's go ahead and start cooking up some veggies. Put the tomatoes in there. Got our onion. A clove of garlic. Put our California Chile in there. Now, I found out later, you're probably going to want to put more than just 1 chili pepper in there. You're probably going to want to put a couple. I wanted to avoid too much heat. Turns out it lost a lot of flavor, so we'll fix that here in just a minute. I'll show you, but you'll probably want to use a couple of those peppers, not just one. Alright, let's cover that up. Now, while we're waiting on those to cook, let's go ahead and get our chips cut up. We'll just take them and cut them into little triangles. Take probably about, I don't know, 10 or 11 in total tortillas to make the one serving that we're going to do. Okay, that does it for the chips. Now let's go ahead and make our sauce. Let's get our tomatoes and our onion and everything out of there. And you see here a little bit of that skin came off. You don't gotta throw that away. The skin will be fine. It's all gonna get blended up and help add a little bit of color. So if you see the skin separate from the tomatoes, don't worry too much about it. Just toss it in there. We're gonna go ahead and toss all 3 tomatoes in here. And there's our pepper and our garlic. Now, don't get rid of this water once you're done. Hold on to this water, because depending on how you like your sauce, here in a minute when we cook our sauce while we're making our chips, you're going to want to hold on to this water. In case the sauce gets too thick, you can add a ladle or so of water to your sauce like I'm doing right now while it's on the oven or on the stove to help thin it out. Okay, so we've blended it. Let's give it a taste. Now we already know it's not tasting quite right, so I'm going to add some of these chopped roasted chipotles right here. We're going to throw that in the mix, give it about 2 or 3 good scoops. And we're going to go ahead and re-blend this and give it another taste test and see how it comes out. Alright, let's retry this again. Oh yeah, way better. Way better. Much more flavor. Those chipotles really made a big difference. Alright, let's go ahead and heat our sauce up now. Put it on the pan, probably about medium heat. We don't want it to boil too much. You just want it to slowly cook. And what we're going to do is let that slowly cook. And we're going to come over here and heat up our oil and get these chips made. So we're almost done. Alright. So we got our sauce over here simmering slowly. Remember, if it gets too thick for you, just add a little bit of that water that you cooked those tomatoes and peppers in, and that'll thin it out for you. Alright, so let's get these chips cooking. Alright, this is pretty easy. Got about a ½ an inch of oil in here, and we're just going to drop our chips. And you don't want the oil too hot. I mean, if you use a fryer, this can control the temperature, that'll help, but we don't need that much oil, so we just keep an eye, medium high heat. Once it gets good and hot, you just take a chip, test it, make sure it fries pretty quick, and then you're good. It'll stay at that temperature as long as you're cooking these chips in, you know, one after the other in batches. Then you won't have to worry about the oil getting too hot. Alright, chips are done. Our sauce is done. That only leaves one thing. Let's grab our chips and let's add them to the sauce. What you want to do is make sure that you turn the heat off. You don't have to take it off the heat. I'd leave it on the heat. Just turn the heat off. Toss your chips in there and then go ahead and mix them up real good before we serve it on the plate. Alright, let's plate it up. Okay, let's go with the toppings. Go ahead and sprinkle some of our cotija cheese on there. Now, some recipes call, like I said, for that queso fresca. I'm not big on that as far as a recipe like this. I like the cotija cheese, and Oaxaca cheese is a little too heavy, I think, for something like this. Go ahead and put our own little specially made crema sauce on there. And then for the protein, I just scrambled a couple eggs in the same pan I had that sauce cooking, and so it's got some of the flavors all in there. It's actually turned out really good. Sprinkle on your green onions, and there you have it, folks. Chilaquiles. And now for the best part. Give this a try. See how it turned out. Oh yeah, it's not too hot. Not at all. What do you think, JT? Is it good? Of course it's good. Not too hot. Actually, those chipotle peppers worked out really well, gave it just the right amount of flavor. And that's it, folks. That's another episode of Gastro Mojo. Today was Chilaquiles. Please, if you like this video, share it, like it, and if you're not a subscriber already, subscribe. I'll see you next time.